Hey there, everyone. Today's the big day that we find out what's going on with the personal income and outlays, the PCE report that is coming for us at 8:30 and at 10 a.m. We also have Michigan consumer sentiment. Those are the two major catalysts that we're waiting on, especially the first thing, personal income and outlays. And we want to know what impact it's going to have on GDP. People are going to be looking at the Atlanta Fed GDP now to see, is it as bad as we thought? Is it better than we thought? Or is it about what we thought? So any one of those things is going to impact the market in a big way. And if you guys want to see how we're playing the market, regardless of which way it goes, you can find a link for the Discord down in the description. You can find me and other panel experts over there at our Discord, and you get 50% off your first month when you sign up using the code word CASH. You got thousands of members over there. You got tons of trades happening every day. There's a Trade Wins channel. You can see what people are doing with those trades as well. And then you also have the bread bot. And you also have AI tools, you have advanced charting tools, tons of products, services, and a vibrant community to go along with it. I'll tell you guys more about that and how you can learn about technical analysis, trading, and options themselves later on in this video. Without further ado, though, let's get into the charts on this thing. So the charts that I want to share with you today, the very first one is Bitcoin. And the interesting thing about Bitcoin's chart today is that we're getting a fairly large candle down below the 200-day, being an early part of the day, though. We don't really know what it means for the end of day's volume. You can see tapering, though, from February the 26th until now, and that's about the time that we found out about the GDP report, if you will, and also more tariff news happening all throughout, the market selling off, and I should say the stock market selling off, also the crypto market selling off, and that's what I mean when I talk about risk assets and trying to find out what risk environment that we're in. And right now, while that question's out, we just have that volatility. Now, mind you, we do have narrowing down of this for Bitcoin's price. And you can see had a bit of a rising wedge pattern, just a little tiny one down below this resistance line as well. Getting up above it would have been a great thing for us. Didn't do it so far. Now, mind you, we're still up above this blue 20-day. And staying up above that is going to be a good thing for us. Down below the 200, not great. But 8:30 is that hour that we're looking for, followed by 10 a.m. This thing could turn on a dime if that happens. Maybe you're watching this afterwards, and well, you'll know from the price action that you see just how the market received the news that we got. So if that news happens to be something that tells us more risk off because GDP is low and we're more fearful of recession, Bitcoin's probably going to take somewhat of a hit on that. If inflation ends up being somewhat on the higher side, Bitcoin might also take a hit on that one as well, but also part of it is an inflation hedge. So Bitcoin, I don't think we see the previous lows that we used to see, but it is something that probably won't do great in a risk-off environment, much like what you would see with the equities market, with the stock market. So expect that for crypto as well. So fingers crossed on this one. We're still very close to bullish territory. RSI just down below 50 on the daily chart. If we go out to weekly, we're at 48.72. The market is positioning itself for anything to happen based on what we get today. And then following week, we start to hear about the labor market news. That's going to be the next big thing. Then we hear about inflation. So it's going to be GDP, labor market, inflation, and all of that influences monetary policy. And so those are the four pillars when you put those all together. I keep talking about what props up markets or allows them to fall back down. So XRP is the next one that I want to talk to you about. And we got some narrowing, moving down in sympathy with what you see with Bitcoin as well. This is probably broad-based for crypto. And, well, the markets, like I said, they're going to be nervous today. And there is no pre-market for crypto. But if you look at the indices for the pre-market, so SPY tracking the S&P 500, down just a little bit. Qs down just a little bit. IWM actually up a little bit from yesterday's close, up by 2 cents as a matter of fact. So what's that, like 0.1 or 0.01%? Something about that price. So in terms of, is the market nervous? I would say absolutely. I think if you watch my video from yesterday, you would see that every single chart that I put up there for any index that we have is all near its 200-day or some critical value, like the 20-day moving average, for example, to be nimble for signaling to us what next direction wants to take based off the report that we get today. I wanted to bring up NVIDIA because it's been a while. You can see most recently we've been in a bit of a bear channel for NVIDIA. Now, mind you, NVIDIA is still a top company. I'm still a long-term investor in NVIDIA, and I will say that I do think that NVIDIA is going to find its recovery moment. I don't know that we're going to get there yet with all the tariff news that we have and all the drama about what we hear from like the data setters, AI demand. That's just going to keep on going. And I will say in terms of excitement with the last GTC conference that we have for NVIDIA, there's a lot of big news coming out. But the thing is that I think when that news came out, why didn't it move the stock so much? It's because what we saw before was a complete paradigm shift And even though the technology that they're coming out with, the stuff that's on the horizon, the demand for their products and services, I feel like the market was waiting for that next paradigm shift at GTC in order to move upward. And we just didn't have that paradigm shift. It was like more of the same. And it's weird to downplay that, because when you see their announcements, they're putting out absolutely incredible technology all the time. So what am I looking for here for the stock price? I'm kind of hoping, like I said, as a long-term investor, somebody who's not just trading, I want to see this come down a little bit more. I'd like to see it soften down to 2 digits. And I think that'd be the next time that we really start to get right in here in this area, high 90s into the low hundreds. I think that's that next point in time that we can start to see more of a rocket ship come back. We'll see if we come down to this lower trend line. It's possible that we don't at all. It would be really nice to hear that tariff situation get cleared up for NVIDIA, that we wouldn't see it infringing on their margins, for example. That would be really nice for helping continue their growth story. If we move over to Tesla, Tesla had, this is the weekly chart, pretty good week so far compared to the past few weeks that you can see. And then these candles here signaling that it was time for a bounce to come along. We closed up above the 200 week, and then right now it looks like we are also above the 50 week as well, down below the 20 week. So near term, you can see the mess that we're in. Longer term, so far we have that support for bullishness. The momentum is still down in bearish territory. So mind you, if PCE signals recession, or if personal income outlays, I should say, PCE not necessarily itself, but the personal spending side of things, as it relates to GDP, the consumer making up about 70% of GDP. If that's something that shows weakness instead of strength, well, then that's something that we start to point more towards recession. Tesla's probably going to suffer the fate of a lot of the rest of the risk on markets with that, especially having so much coming from automotive, from their EVs. And once again, long-term investor in Tesla, don't want to necessarily see that pain, but I will take advantage of the opportunities as they come along. So at this point in time, I'm going to share with you just 2 penny stock picks that might actually put out some high volume for us. Yesterday in my video, I talked about BBAI. Go back and check out that one for its technicals. American Resources Corporation, AREC. Check this one out. In the pre-market hours so far, closed yesterday at 53, up at 60, so up that 7 cents, so over 10% in the pre-market hours. And NNDM, after a big old sell-off, and you can see the sort of drop that it had a few days ago, their earnings hit, and we're seeing a nice little bounce, nice little recovery off of that one. Watch for volume confirmation for a move. If we get explosive volume coming off of those, it could indicate that we're going to see a movement up for the next several days for those 2 penny stocks. So guys, I talked about the indices a lot in last night's video. Not much has changed since then, so I wanted to bring to you some different stocks that I'm watching, Tesla and NVIDIA, and then also those 2 penny stocks as well, along with some updates on crypto. We get that answer soon, and I will give you the feedback after the market closes today over what we saw and what that direction looks like next. And so if you guys want to make sure that you catch that video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on your notifications so that way you can see anytime those videos come out. And if you guys want to learn to do technical analysis yourself, if you want to learn about options, if you want to learn about the bread recipe trading strategy that I use, you can learn it all through Stockmo Academy. The link is down in the description. And you want to use the code word DOCTOR when you sign up, DOCTOR. And if you want to join the Discord community where all the trades are happening, all the technicals are happening, all the news is happening, just so many products, resources, and like I said, that community is the best that I've ever found. You guys can sign up, use the code word CASH when you do. It's going to save you 50% off your first month's membership. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.